Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anant Vaishnavind ki jai, Namacharya Haridas Thakur ji ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Good morning, dear devotees. This is Shivani from Virginia. I welcome you all to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call for this mid-morning session. Please forgive me for stopping you in beautiful chanting. Let us move to our next part of the session, which is Sri Caitanya Bhagavata Adi Khanda, chapter 8, 114 to 122 verses onwards. May I ask who all have joined this morning?
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhupada, this is Priti Vidasi from Paris.
Hare Krishna, Priti Vilasini Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining this morning and giving a beautiful association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Guru Maharaj ki jai, Priti Vidasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining this morning session and giving a beautiful association today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru and Gauranga and all assembled devotees. Yashoda from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashoda Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining this mid-morning session, giving a beautiful association today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vanita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you for giving a beautiful association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. This is Cinmayi Vrajapriya Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Cinmayi Vrajapriya Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a wonderful association today. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody else who would like to share the name? Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I welcome you all once again to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. I would like to start by sharing a quote by Srila Prabhupada ji. If a person hears about glories, meditates upon, worships, or simply offers great respect to the Supreme Lord, who is situated within the heart, The Lord will remove from his mind the contamination accumulated during many thousands of lifetimes. Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, we are very fortunate today to have the association of our Grace Cinmayi Vrajapriya Devi Mataji. Mataji will be enlightening us on Sri Caitanya Bhagavata Adi Khanda, Chapter 8, 114 to 122 verses onwards. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Mataji, thank you so much for giving your valuable time and wonderful association this morning. We all are looking very forward to hearing from you, Mataji. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru and Gauranga ki Jai. Please take over the call. Hare Krishna.
You have to unmute.
We can't hear you, Mataji.
Sorry, Mataji. Sorry. First of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity, Mataji. Totally unqualified to speak about the Lord and Caitanya Bhagavata on top of it. So please forgive me for all my mistakes I'm going to make. Please accept my humble obeisances at each and every one of your lotus feet. Please bless me that for the next a little while, whatever I'm going to talk will be totally in accord with Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, and the entire Guru Varga. I'm not, please bless me that I will not use my mental concoction anywhere. That is very important for my progress spiritually. So please bless me. Hare Krishna. I'll start with Mangalacharan Prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakhyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam panghum langhayate girim yatkripa tamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramanandam Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanyam Ishwaram Hari. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Matajis. So today we will be talking about Caitanya Bhagavat, the 8th chapter, disappearance of Jagannath Mishra. I'll be covering verses 114 to 122. So a very small recap. This is for my own benefit for the flow. We saw in the previous chapter how Nimai does a lot of mischievous activities so that he can convince his parents to send him to school. His parents were reluctant to send him to school because they had their first son Vishwarupa, he had taken sannyasa and gone, and they were very scared if Nimai would follow his footsteps. So they thought they'll keep him at home quite safely. When Nimai did a lot of tantrums, and then he convinced his parents. So this chapter begins with Nimai's sacred thread ceremony, where Nimai enacts the pastimes of Lord Vamanadeva, and he begs alms from everyone. And it is a very beautiful sacred thread ceremony. And after this, our beautiful Sri Gaurasundara, he begins his study. His father takes him to Gangadas Pandit, who is a very renowned teacher in the Navadvip area. And this Gangadas Pandit, he senses Nimai to be the most intelligent, most intelligent child he has ever seen. And this little Nimai, he would debate with all students, even older students like Murari Gupta, he would debate. He would explain and establish the meaning of one sutra, and then he himself would refute the meaning, and again he would re-establish his first explanation. So this was such a mesmerizing event that everyone in Navadvip would enjoy it so much. And even Brihaspati, he came all the way to Navadvip to enjoy these scholastic pastimes of the Lord. Then we see that Mother Ganges, she had a long cherished desire that she should have the same good fortune as Mother Yamuna. So our Lord Sri Gaurasundara, who is a desire fulfilling tree, he fulfills this desire, and he displays various pastimes by bathing in Mother Ganges so many times, and he makes her very happy. And then we see he makes Jagannath Mishra so happy, and Jagannath Mishra is in jubilation. And then Jagannath Mishra gets the dream where he sees the Lord dressed as a sannyasi, and he's chanting the names of Krishna in ecstasy, and he's surrounded by lots of devotees, including Sri Advaita Acharya. And Jagannath Mishra also sees Nimai sitting on Vishnu Simhasan, and he's placing his lotus feet on everybody's head, and all demigods have assembled, and they're all chanting Jaya Sachinandan. So with this beautiful dream, Jagannath Mishra gets very terrified as a father that his son is also going to leave the house very soon. Then Mother Sachi consoles him, saying, see how Nimai is always engaged in studying. I'm very sure he's not going to leave us and go anywhere. So this way, a mother's heart, she consoles him. And yesterday we saw the event where Jagannath Mishra passes away, and Gaurahari, who is the cause of all causes, the original source of everything, he cries profusely at the passing away of his father, just like Sri Ramachandra cries when Sri Dasharatha leaves this world. This is the Lord cries, feeling the separation from his devotees, and we heard very beautiful explanation yesterday. So, and then Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, he says that these topics are too painful, and we learned how they are actually confidential yesterday. That's why he gives a very brief description of these topics. And so now Vishwarupa has taken sannyas and he's left home. Jagannath Mishra has passed away. So it is just our beautiful Lord Gaurahari who is living with his mother Sachi in their house in seclusion. So now I will start today's verses. Thank you, Vinita Mataji, for sharing. Text 114. Pitrahina balaka dikhya sachi aayi, seyi putra seva bai ara karyanai. Sachi Devi engaged fully in the service of her fatherless son with no interest in any other activity. So here, Mother Sachi had no interest in any other activity other than serving her son Gaurahari. So here, she is displaying the topmost maternal affection, Vatsalya Rasa here. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he recommends the standard of our love towards the Lord, that is Ramya Kachi Dupasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Vyakalpita. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says the affection of gopis either in Vatsalya Rasa or Madhurya Rasa is the highest, and we have to follow their footsteps. Now here we see how Lord Krishna, he presents himself as an innocent child to increase the transcendental ecstasy of the maternal affection of Mother Yashoda. We all know this pastime where Mother Yashoda, she gets to hear that little Krishna has eaten dirt, and then she comes and then she says, "Have you eaten dirt, Krishna?" And little Krishna says, "No, I am not eaten dirt. Everyone here is lying. That is all. I am not eaten dirt." And Mother Yashoda challenges him. She says, "If you have not eaten dirt, then open your mouth and show it to me." That's a normal maternal instinct. So now Krishna, he wants to transcendentally humor the maternal affection of his mother, and at the same time he wants to exhibit the pastimes like a human child. So he opens his mouth, and when he opens his mouth, what happens? All his opulences are automatically displayed, and Mother Yashoda sees the entire cosmic manifestation in the Lord's mouth. And then we all know how she starts glorifying the Lord with beautiful prayers, and Lord Krishna does not want that. He wants Vatsalya Rasa from his mother, where she is bossing over him the whole day and giving him instructions to do this, do that. He wants that from him because that is higher, that is so much higher than the awe and reverence. So he brings about Yoga Maya and covers his mother, and immediately Mother Yashoda gets continues her maternal affection and gets absorbed totally in it. So this is the maternal affection which the Lord enjoys. Now Putana, on the other hand, she had no affection for Krishna. She was very envious of Krishna. She wanted, in fact, her instructions were to kill Krishna. But then what did she do? With or without the knowledge that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, she offered a very beautiful service to him. She did something which mothers do. She gave her milk to the child. So, and then by this single act, she attained the highest perfection. Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam jighamsa yapa yayadapi asadvi lebhe gatim dhatri uchitam tatonyo kam va dayalum sharanam vrajema. Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he, who granted the position of mother to a she-demon, Putana, although she was unfaithful, and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breasts. So here we see that how Putana is... Yes, we see how here there are two things we have to keep in mind. It is intent versus action. If our intent is to serve the Lord, but action somehow does not manifest as service to the Lord is so merciful that he accepts our intent and shows his mercy. And if our intent was not to serve the Lord, but the action ends up serving the Lord, as in the case of Putana, he again accepts the action and shows his mercy. So this is how merciful the Lord is. Then we see the chaste ladies of Navadvip and even Sita Thakurani. They see the transcendental bodily effulgence of baby Nimai, his nicely constructed limbs full of auspicious signs, and then they develop so much of maternal affection that they feel as if their heart is melting. So this is the maternal affection which comes when these elevated devotees, they see the Lord, and this is Vatsalya Bhava. Moving on to the next verse, text 115. Matajis, please forgive me. My Bengali is really, really bad, so I'll be making some mistakes reading the verses. Please forgive me for it. Dande ka na dekhe yadi ai Gaura Chandra mocha paye ai dui chakshe hana andha. So here, if she did not see Gaura Chandra for a danda, she would faint and become blinded. The word dandeka means one danda, or about 24 minutes. The words mucha paye mean to become unconscious or senseless. The phrase dui chakshe hana andha, she was blinded, is used because Nimai was the eyesight of Mother Sachi. So here, Nimai was the eyesight of Mother Sachi. We see in our mundane maternal affection itself, we are so attached to our children, and we feel they are our very lives, our very breath, and how we constantly pray to the Lord for their protection and so on. And here Mother Sachi is the eternal mother of the Supreme Lord, Supreme Lord. So, and she is showing her unflinching love to him. And if she does not see him for even a very short time, what happens to her? She faints and she gets blinded with her eyes, don't see anything. If she does not see Gaurachandra, she does not see anything else. Her eyes refuse to see anything else if Gaurachandra is not there in her vision. So they become blind. So that is how intense Mother Sachi's love is towards the Lord. Text 116. Prabhu Maera Priti Kare Nirantara Prabodhena Tane Bali Ashvasa Uttara. The Lord also constantly displayed affection and pacified his mother with pleasing words. The word Prabodhena means to pacify or to solace, and the words Ashvasa Uttara refer to encouraging, solacing, and reassuring answers. Text 117. Suna mata mane kichu na chinti hatumi sakala tumara ache yadi achi ami sakala tumara ache yadi achi ami. He would say, "Oh mother, don't be aggrieved. As long as I am with you, you have everything." So here the Supreme Lord is consoling his mother. He knows his mother's anxiety, that she has lost everybody else, and she has undeviated, unflinching love on her only son, who is the Supreme Lord now. So he is showing so much of affection to her. He is pacifying her and he's always reassuring her. And he says, "Oh mother, as long as I am with you, you have everything." So what is this? This is such a profound, beautiful statement. Now, all the rituals, all the performances of sacrifices which we do, and everything that is there in all the khandas of Veda, everything they are meant for only one thing, that is to understand that Krishna is the ultimate goal of life. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudevaha sarvam iti samahatma sudurlabhaha. So after many, many births, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes. Such a great soul is very rare. So here, Srila Prabhupada in one of his lectures for Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, first chapter, first verse, he says this, he says, if we become convinced that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then all our studies of Vedas is finished. It is done. So all we have to do is we have to accept completely that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He says, you accept this with open eyes or closed eyes. Srila Prabhupada is so merciful. He says, accept it however, but you accept it. Then you are advanced. This Srila Prabhupada is assuring us. And he quotes this verse in this reference. Srila Prabhupada says, Mattah parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre maniganaiva. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests on me like pearl strung on thread. So real knowledge is knowledge that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, is everything. So we see how in Brahma Vimohan Leela, the Lord, we see how Brahmaji takes away all the calves first, and then he takes all the cowherd boys, and the Lord, but he is like he's everything. He can do anything. He is Swarat. He can do anything. So the Lord himself expands. He does not want his pastimes to stop because all his sakhas and all the calves have gone away. So he expands himself into all the calves, all the cowherd boys, and he continues his pastimes. And then what happens? All the mothers of those gopas and mothers of all the calves, the cows, they were feeling so much of love to the heart, to their children, to their child, more than what they would feel to their own children, because here it is the Supreme Lord who has come as their own child. So the love which they were feeling was so much more. It was infinite love they were feeling. Then we see in Kunti Maharani's prayers, she says, O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of material world. You exist both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all. So now we all know how Kunti Maharani is such a pure devotee along with the Pandavas. They go through so many afflictions, so many troubles, but they always go through them because in a very nice way, because the Lord is there with them during these troubles and they are always thinking of the Lord. In fact, even Kunti Maharani prays, she tells the Lord, if troubles are going to make you stay with me, give me more troubles. That is such a high level of prayer, but that is how Kunti Maharani is praying. And then we see the Nagapatnis. They say the entire time force exists in you. You are the seer and the embodiment of total time in the shape of past, present, and future, month, day, hour, moment, everything. So these Nagapatnis, we know the pastime of Kaliya, where the Lord performs his beautiful dance standing on the hood of Kaliya. And then when the Nagapatnis feel that the life air from their husband is going to go away, they all come and they are very nice devotees of the Lord. They understand what is happening. So they first ask the Lord, what great things has my husband done that he is getting such a big fortune that even great sages don't get this. The Lord putting his lotus feet on Kaliya's head. So they are so happy that this is happening. And they feel the Lord is so merciful here. And then we also see the wives of Kamsa. They say, we know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the Supreme Master and Supreme Enjoyer of everything. One who neglects his authority can never be happy and ultimately he meets death. So the wives of Kamsa, when Kamsa gets killed, they come running and they initially lament for Kamsa's death. But then even that moment's association with Lord Krishna purifies them so much that they get these deep realizations that they realize that Krishna is the Supreme Master and he is the Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam. He is the supreme enjoyer of everything. And we have to follow his authority. So that realization they get and they glorify the Lord with this prayer. And we see how Prithu Maharaj, he was not even interested in the perfection of yoga and jnana. He thoroughly realized that it is only devotional service which will lead to Krishna, who is the ultimate goal of life. And all he wants, all he prays is love at the lotus feet of the Lord. And then we know how Akrura was sent by Kamsa to from Mathura to go to Vrindavan to get the lordships, both Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram to Mathura. So Akrura knew this was not a good thing to do. One, he is separating Krishna from the Vrajavasis and he is getting him to Mathura near Kamsa. But then how is Akrura's thought during this travel? He is thinking Krishna is the ultimate goal of life for all people who fear material existence. And certainly when I see him, he will give me the shelter of his lotus feet. I am aspiring for the touch of his lotus-like hand on my head. So that is all Akrura is wanting. The other activities are secondary to him. He is going just to fall at the lotus feet of the Lord, and if the Lord wishes, he will put his hand on his head. And he is in ecstasy thinking of this. We'll move on to text 118. Brahma Maheshwarera Durlabha Loke Bole Taha Ami Tomare Aniyadi Muhele. I will readily bring you that which people consider rare for even Brahma and Shiva. Text 119. Sachiyo dekhite gora chandrera shri mukha deha smriti matra nahi thaki kise dukha. What to speak of her distress? Mother Sachi forgot even her own self upon seeing the beautiful face of Sri Gaurachandra. Seeing the beautiful lotus face of Nimai, the personification of ecstatic pastimes, his liberated servants who reside in Vaikuntha forgot themselves and gave up all desire for sense enjoyment. Identifying the material body as the self is found in Durga's kingdom of flickering enjoyment among conditioned souls who are averse to Gaura, Krishna, and overpowered by nescience. In other words, because they identify the body as their self, they are no better than cows or asses, and they are subjected to the threefold miseries. Sachi Devi is the personification of pure goodness and happiness. She is eternally liberated and the shelter of transcendental mellow of Vatsalya Rasa. Since Sachi Devi is continuously engaged in the service of Gaura with no desire for personal sense enjoyment, how can she be afflicted by the threefold miseries born of nescience? Here we will talk about the beautiful lotus face and beautiful body of Sri Gaurachandra. So in Gaura Arti we say, Kiva Bahu Koti Chandra Jini Vadana Ujvala Gala Deshe Vana Mala Kore Jhala Mala. The brilliance of Lord Chaitanya's face conquers millions upon millions of moons, and the garland of forest flowers around his neck shines. So this is the beauty of Gaurachandra. Now I will read certain verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, 3rd chapter, verse 41 onwards, which glorifies the Lord's beauty. Text 41. Tapta hema samakanti prakanda sharira nava megha jini kantha dhvani ye gambhira. Translation. The luster of his expansive body resembles molten gold. The deep sound of his voice conquers the thundering of newly assembled clouds. Newly assembled clouds, how much of noise they'll make, that is how the Lord's voice is. Dairghya vistare apanarahata chari hasta haya mahapurusha vikhyata. One who measures 4 cubits in height and in breadth by his own hand is celebrated as a great personality. Nyagrodha parimandala haya tanra nama Nyagrodha parimandala tanu chaitanya gunadhama. Such a person is called Nyagrodha Parimandala. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who personifies all good qualities, has the body of Nyagrodha Parimandala. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. It's a very small purport, so I'll just read it. It's a one-liner. No one other than the Supreme Lord Himself, who has engaged the conditioned souls by His own illusory energy, can possess these bodily features. These features certainly indicate an incarnation of Vishnu and no one else. Text 44. Ajanulambita bhuja kamala lochana tila phula jini nasha sudhamshu vadana. His arms are long enough to reach his knees. His eyes are just like lotus flowers. His nose is like a sesame flower. And his face is as beautiful as the moon. Here it is as beautiful as moon, but is in our Gaura Arti, it says the Lord's moon face conquers millions and millions and millions of moon. Next 45. Shantadanta Krishna Bhakti Nishtha Parayana Bhakta Vatsala Shushila Sarva Bhute Sama. He is peaceful, self-controlled, and fully devoted to the transcendental service of Lord Shri Krishna. He is affectionate towards his devotees, he is gentle, and he is equally disposed toward all living beings. Chandinaira angada bala chandana bhushana nritya kale parikarena Krishna sankirtana. He is decorated with sandalwood bangles and armlets and anointed with the pulp of sandalwood. He especially wears these decorations to dance in Sri Krishna Sankirtana. Eisa baguna lana muni vaishampayana sahasra name kaila tandra namaganana. Recording all these qualities of Lord Chaitanya, the sage Vaishampayana included his name in the Vishnu Sahasranam. So we also see in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 9.88, the beauty of Lord Chaitanya's body and his ecstatic love of God were witnessed by everyone. And many people used to come to see him. And as soon as they saw him, all their unhappiness and distress vanished. And now we know that the Lord, when he was in Varanasi, how Varanasi is a hub for all the Mayavad sannyasis. So the Lord goes there and a Brahmana who sees the Lord, the Lord's wonderful behavior goes to Prakashanand Saraswati, who is a great Mayavad sannyasi, and he's actually the leader of all these Mayavad sannyasis, and he describes the Lord's beauty to Prakashanand Saraswati. I'll just read those verses. It's from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 17, text 106 onwards. Eka sannyasi aila Jagannatha haite tanhara mahima pratapa na parivarnite. The Brahmana told Prakashananda Saraswati, there is a sannyasi who has come from Jagannath Puri, and I cannot describe his wonderful influence and glories. Text 109. Sakala dekhiya tante adbhuta kathana prakanda sharire shuddha kanchana varana. Everything is wonderful about that sannyasi. He has a very well built and luxuriant body, and his complexion is like purified gold. Ajanulambita bhuja kamala nayana yata kichu ishwarera sarvasa lakshana. He has arms that extend to his knees, and his eyes are like the petals of a lotus. In his person are all the transcendental symptoms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Taha dekhi jnana haya eyi narayana eyi tanre dekhe kare Krishna sankirtana. When one sees all these features, one takes him to be Narayana himself. Whoever sees him immediately begins to chant the holy name of Krishna. So we know how the Lord goes to the accepts the invitation of these Mayavad sannyasis, and he goes to a place where all these Mayavad sannyasis have gathered. And then these Mayavad sannyasis, they're all sitting on some high seats and they're trying to discuss something. And here the Lord, he decides to show his opulence of humility. The Lord, what does he do? He goes and he sits at the place where they all wash their feet. At the foot washing area, the Lord sits. And here the Lord looks so effulgent, so beautiful that all these Mayavad sannyasis, they get attracted. In fact, it is said that they get attracted to this Brahman effulgence of the Lord, because that is what they get attracted to. But somehow or other, they come rushing to the Lord. All these sannyasis, they come to the Lord. And the chief among them, Prakashanand Saraswati, he personally comes and he lifts the Lord and takes him inside. And it is said that because of this, Prakashanand Saraswati got a lot of Ajnata Sukriti. It's 120. Coming back to Caitanya Bhagavat. Yanra smriti matra purna haya sarva kama se prabhu yanhara putra rupe vidyamana. He whose remembrance fulfills the desires of all was personally present in the form of her son. Text 121. Tahara ke mate dukha rahibe sharire ananda swarupa kari lena jananire. Therefore, how could she remain miserable? Rather, Sachi Devi soon recovered her blissful nature. So the Lord here fulfills the desires of everyone. He is sitting as Paramatma in ourselves, and we are having a Ferris wheel like journey, going down, going up. We are sometimes in the body of a bug, sometimes in the body of a demigod, and we sometimes go to the lower planetary systems, and sometimes we go to the upper planetary systems. And all this while, this Supreme Personality of Godhead as Paramatma, he is accompanying us. He is the best friend. He is the most merciful Father who does not want to give up on us, though we commit all kinds of activities. And what does he do sitting inside us? He is seeing what our desires are. Sometimes we may also not mentally accept these desires. I'm speaking for myself here, but the Lord acknowledges these desires and he sanctions the demigods and the material nature to fulfill these desires for us. This is how merciful the Supreme Lord is. And then somehow or other, when we approach the Supreme Lord himself with these material desires again, then what he does, he still fulfills them, but he does it in a right way, so that after some time, slowly, we start losing interest over those material desires. So we all know the verse, Kamaha sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradihi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. A person with broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we saw 2 days ago in the class, Jagannath Mishra's dream. There, he actually sees that Nimai is taking sannyasa, and this dream makes him very sad. But it is said that he was also happy, and it was explained very nicely by Mataji in the class that this happiness was because he was seeing Nimai in his dream. So just seeing the Lord, Jagannath Mishra was becoming happy, though the dream was not a happy one. So this is how it is. When we see the Lord, we get everything, all our desires are fulfilled, and he gives us the utmost happiness. The last verse for today, text 122. Hena mate navadvipe viprashishu rupe achena vaikuntha natha swanubhava sukhe. In this way, the Lord of Vaikuntha relished ecstasy as a Brahmana child in Navadvipa. Nimai is the transcendental Satchidananda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He does not experience happiness like that derived by conditioned souls from their perishable gross and subtle bodies born of nescience. He is self-satisfied and enjoys eternal spiritual happiness. After reading, another reading of Svanubhava Sukhe is Svanubhava Sukhe, which means happiness derived from his own opulence. So here, Nimai is Satchidananda, full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Ishvara Paramah Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. He is full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. He is Parama, the Supreme Lord, and Anadir. He has no origin. He is the origin for everything, and he is the cause of all causes. Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the primeval Lord, Govinda. He is Atma Rama. He gets happiness only from his own opulences. We all know when the Lord comes as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, he is lying down on Anantashesha, and Mother Lakshmi is massaging his lotus feet. And from his navel springs a lotus, and on the navel is Brahmaji. On the lotus is Brahmaji. So the Lord does not need any external force for his satisfaction or for any of his activities. So finally, I will conclude by reading an excerpt from one of my Srila Guru Maharaj's lecture. This is the title for this excerpt is Ultimate Protector. It is from his lecture at Los Angeles on September 16th, 1979. It is a very humorous lecture, so I thought I'll just share it. Nowadays, there are so many union strikes all over the world, especially in Bengal, India. There is a story about the census. They decided to call a union meeting. The census formed a union. The hands, legs, palms, eyes, ears, they all got together and had a meeting. They all decided, we are working so hard day and night, giving all the food to the stomach. But that stomach does not do anything. It simply sits there, digests the food, and enjoys. We are walking, lifting, seeing, doing all the work, and he is getting all the enjoyment. We are going on a strike. Enough of this slavery for the stomach. So they all went on strike. Zindabad, Zindabad. Devotees laugh. We will fight for our rights. Why should we simply feed the stomach? He does not do a damn thing. He simply sits there and gets all the food. They went on a big strike. After about 3 to 4 days, the hands were fatigued. The legs were tired out. They could not walk anymore. The eyes were getting heavy and everyone was just getting worn out. They called an emergency meeting. All the senses got together. Listen, this is not working. We are getting weak. Devotees laugh again. We better stop the strike and feed the stomach again. Then they said, all right, stomach, forgive us. They fed the stomach and all the senses became nourished. Similarly, we are all part of Krishna. He is the supreme being and we are his atomic particles. He is like the stomach. When we serve him, we are happy. As soon as a devotee does a little something, chants, takes a little prasadam, comes in and sweeps the floor or gives something to Krishna, immediately he can feel a little goodness, a little transcendental happiness. This is natural. If one can give his whole life for him, it is the most wonderful experience. But of course, everyone may not be able to make such a sacrifice in a day. One can use whatever one has in the service of Krishna. That increases his influence and the transcendental experience of who he is to really reach that spiritual realm. Therefore, Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami mashachaha. You surrender to me, I will give you all protection. I will protect you from all type of bad karma, sinful reaction. Otherwise, who is going to protect us? Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Jai Nityananda, Jai Jai Gautama. Thank you, Matajis. Please add, please correct. Whatever mistakes I have done, please correct and please add, Matajis. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Cinmayi Vrajapriya Mataji. What a flawless presentation. And every verse had connections with various places from different scriptures, like Srimad Bhagavatam, how you described how the different devotees really felt Krishna as their life and soul. And Sri Caitanya Bhagavat story of Prakashanand Saraswati, how he was completely attracted by the beauty of the Lord. So, and the final story of the different body parts, so sweet. Such a beautiful class, Mataji, so systematically presented as always, very scholarly, and and so much involvement in the class. It was really a pleasure hearing to you. Thank you so much for such a fabulous presentation, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Very grateful to you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm not at all qualified. All elevated speakers have been speaking, and in between, someone like me sneaks in. But I just took this as an opportunity to purify myself. Thank you for this opportunity, and you helped me a lot during when I was preparing. So thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Cinmayi Vrajapriya Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for a very beautiful nectarian class. You explained all the verses very, very wonderful in details. Thank you so much for your beautiful association. We look forward to your association in the near future. Dear devotees, if you have any questions or realizations, please go ahead at this time.
Hare Krishna, Cinmayi Vrajapriya Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. What a beautiful class, Mataji. Very nice. I really like all the points that you are sharing about Yashoda Maya, how Yashoda Maya is to feel. And also you were talking about Kamsa's wives, right? That is so interesting. Just by having association, little bit of time, even though Krishna killed their own husband, but they could understand that Krishna is the essence of everything. And you have just simply told in a sweet way that, just to understand everything, all the books, everything is like to understand that Krishna is the supreme and we have to surrender to him. If we understand this, everything we got it. I mean, so sweetly you said, Mataji, that satisfies me a lot. Because for me, understanding everything is very hard. At least this one I understood. Maybe that I have to put it in practical application, day-to-day life. I have to be surrendered more, so then I can realize more what is real surrender and understanding what is Krishna supreme means. Just we can say Krishna is the supreme personality of God and Krishna is the supreme personality of God. But when our day-to-day life, if we try to, involved in everything Krishna, then that means I realized Krishna is the supreme. A very beautiful class, Mataji. At the end, the story that you were sharing, yesterday's Guru Maharaj lecture, also same story he was sharing, initiation lecture. Yesterday's lecture that I shared in the group, right? Every day one lecture. So that lecture also same story. There he was telling that, like, we were thinking that, you want to do your own service to Guru. I want to do. It's not like you want to feel your own satisfaction. But the main thing, we are serving Guru or Krishna to satisfy him, not to anyone. So we should not think that for our own sense gratification or to make you feel happy or to show off, not like that. Yeah, very beautiful class, Mataji. Thank you so much. Such a sweet class. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji, and I bothered you asking you to show the PDF, and sorry, Mataji, still not very comfortable with the computer.
No worries, Mataji. I'm very happy somewhere I could serve you, Mataji. Thank you so much for allowing me to do.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you. We'll end, Mataji.
Once again, I would like to thank Her Grace Cinmayi Vrajapriya Devi Mataji. Thank you so much for your beautiful association and very, very beautiful nectarian class. We look forward to your beautiful association in the near future. Dear devotees, if there are no more questions or realization at this time, with the permission of Mataji and all the assembled devotees, I would like to close the call. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुएव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत वैष्णववृंद की जय। रामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर जी की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री चैतन्य भागवत क्लास की जय। हर ग्रेस चिन्मय व्रज प्रिया देवी माता जी की जय।
Hare Krishna Mataji, wonderful class. Very, which way you just make Krishna Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's very nicely by all the scriptures you quoted, the verses very nicely, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Please bless me, Mataji. Please bless me that I progress at least a little in the spiritual journey.
You are already advanced, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for your blessings.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Thank you everyone for joining today's Chaitanya Bhagavat class. We'll meet tomorrow. Closing the call for today. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So much. Thank you, Cinmayi Mataji. Lovely class. Hare Krishna.